horror. A creaking outside your bedroom door in your supposedly empty house. A wide open window at night with nothing but the pitch blackness boring into you deeper and deeper. Your lit room, a candle for all to see. Something is filling you with a sense of dread. Something is wrong. You're much too afraid to look away from the vast expanse of night, the seemingly endless void hiding those potentially lurking. You notice it much too late. The wind is gone. Not a single cricket or rustling tree to prove that you in this oppressive abyss aren't the only things here. Your eyes slowly adjust to it. You try your best not to show it, but your body betrays you. The labored breathing, the urge to run, to move, to get out fast. Your throat is dry. You hear your faint heart beating, and it drops to the pit of your stomach as you realize the dark was a preferable companion. There is a figure outside. Your body runs cold. It knows. You know.
Good morning, my bro.
Oh God, the horror.
Hey, the big man's back!
Now, I'm no expert when it comes to the spooky wookies or the chilly willies. What I find scary could vastly differ from yours. As people are multifaceted, certain aspects of horror or fear strikes a chord in certain people. For instance, one could say that one cartel video of the guys cutting and skinning off the chest of their victim and ignoring his ragged bloody screams for mercy as they proceed to literally take a bite out of his heart could be rather unnerving. Or maybe it's eye contact with the cute brunette cashier at the Barnes & Nobles wearing a Sudahiro model shirt. I have no clue, man. If this video, considering the subject matter I'm discussing here, gonna try to keep it relatively brief and concise, with little to no distractions. All I hope is that you leave disturbed at best, and mildly interested at worst, as we sit by this cozy campfire telling and recounting tall tales and stories of yore. One such that stuck with me is just that, a story, a legend, an urban myth. Though I can only hope it's mere myth. The story of pervasive darkness oozing from within, bubbling from the surface and suffocating those caught in its web, infecting all involved. Riddled with unease, the supernatural, death and the lines and lies in between. This is the curse of Kowai Shashin. We'll be right back.
I just love Halloween.
Mono, what's my costume?
We already have a daddy, so how about a mummy?
Where's your costume, Ronald?
What am I going to be for Halloween?
Yo, Ronnie, how about a clown?
A 2002 PS1 game from Media Entertainment. Nice name, guys. Does it give me trouble trying to research it all? You play as Hiyori, a talented spirit medium from a young age that investigates and exorcises ghosts within various photographs, doing her best to send the spirits away and not become one herself. I mean, honestly, what you expect from a game that literally means... Oh, hold on, I have it here somewhere. Scary photo. Narrative-wise, it's fairly typical of a Japanese horror game, cliches included. A power struggle, ancestral demon consuming all. First love's the responsibility one needs with the abilities you have. A very pretty girl with spunk and moxie that would be sure to charm you, and I'm a very bad man.
Hey man, you need to sit your motherfucking ass down.
But that wasn't what had the Japanese public abuzz with titillating rumor and hearsay. For years and years, the exchanging of hushed tones carried only one message. Oh, babe, it's real.
I don't want to do any of that. Look, photos. Our beautiful photos. Family photo. They're fucking real. It's real.
The big man would walk 20 miles for a quaalude, let me tell you!
These photos carrying the horrified looks of cut-down lives, discarded babies, tortured souls, agonized people trapped forever, reliving whatever awful fate befell them on repeat over and over and over again. That was one of the supposed rules for the game. They must use authentic photos. That's fairly common in Japan. Shows in other games do the same. Even then, they had trouble getting anything good. 3 conditions had to be met before they used them. Must be real, must not be purified or exercised, had to have permission from the owner. So, understandably, they decided to touch them up. Now, they did not fake them, they could, and it was their golden rule. They did clean them up, moving already existing ghosts from other photos in case one was lacking, and got rid of the stereotypical orb. One must be prepared when dealing with the other side. Illness, exhaustion, depression, all of these were lobbed at the developers, forcing some to quit lest they destroy themselves. Media Entertainment wasn't a big company by all means. Part-time workers were needed if they were to get the game out the door. By the time debugging was finished, they could barely handle it. It was too much for them. They had to play silly little music to calm their nerves. Perhaps they played some Mr. Bungle or Ween. I am delighted by this notion. They started hearing noises from no clear cause. One could only imagine what they heard. The scrapping of fabric behind them, the rat-tat-tat of knuckles, a slow, barely audible breathing. That sounds way too close. One developer passed out, chipping their tooth. They rushed him to the hospital where they diagnosed him as epileptic. Upon release, in the comfort of their own home, they chopped their thumb off. They remembered doing it, but they could not, for the life of them, remember why they did it. Hospitalizations, trips to shrines for purification were some of the other events to occur. Kowai, the executive producer, suddenly stopped showing up to work, and the company, fearing the employees would suspect him to lay his victim, reassured everyone that he was simply seeing a therapist. Kowai even phoning the office saying he was in good shape, enough to come back in. He never did. They found him hung in a train station toilet. Said train station heading towards the location of a photo within the game. Of course, it's pretty good marketing to say that real hauntings infest your horror game. Plenty of Japanese games dealing in the macabre have some sort of unexplainable phenomena happen during development. It's a rite of passage nowadays. So, for all intents and purposes, Kowai Shashin should just be a forgotten game, trying to capitalize on its reputation and rumor. But those very same rumors have persisted even now, it being an extremely rare game with a very steep price. Not many people have the luxury to fully debunk them, the elusive game with a dark past. Certainly sounds like a perfect garden for urban legends to bloom fully, considering just how superstitious Japan is. So, are these stories true? Were these photos the source of the pain, suffering, and loss the team had to endure?
Horoscope continues. You are in Friday Prime.
You're watching the Sci-Fi feature film on the Sci-Fi Channel.
No. I mean, look at these things, man. There's even a silly little comic they did showing off how they got one of the ghosts digitized. How I got that comic, I'll explain in a bit. The story came from Nichan, an image board home to many Japanese urban legends. I won't go into the history of Nichan or its many exploits, but please pay a visit to Tara A. Devlin's channel. She goes far into detail about this specific myth and many more, and might I say, fucking immaculate. She's the reason why this video even has a semblance of cohesion. But while she provides a more concrete explanation debunking it, I won't. My fascination with this stems from the very possibility of it being real, and I'm sure it's the same for plenty of people out there. To believe in something like this leads to me actually giving this game a go when I would have just passed it by. It's not fantastic by any means. First of all, the difficulty of this ramps up to an insane degree, and there's a special place in fucking hell for the person who decided that the silly little comic I mentioned before should be locked behind 3 playthroughs where you have to catch the ghost who sometimes fade away before you even have the time to blink, memorize specific button patterns, do it all like 9 times in a row, and sometimes talking about the final boss, you have to do that entire process 6 times back to back. I do not wish death upon anyone. I'm just saying my big meaty mitts around the neck would be a very, very beautiful thing. And although I speak with venom, I really did enjoy my time with Kowai Shashin. It's no Maldoro or death on the installment plan, but I like the simplicity of the story. Kowai Shashin is definitely a flawed game with insane difficulty, repetitive gameplay, a simple plot, and a crock of shit final boss, especially in the 3rd loop. But for what it's worth, it's chock full of charm. I love Hiyori a lot, and the story behind the game, albeit a myth, is incredibly interesting. And I think believing in these kinds of things does the world good more than bad. A belief in the supernatural, and spirituality, and beyond the macabre of the extraordinary is a beautiful thing. An earth wrapped in cold, dull, lifeless facts is an earth I want no part of. I would say, go out and try it for yourself. It's definitely worth a play, plus it's rather easy to acquire. But hey, as the people of the rising sun say, beats me.